Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest, Sébastien Julliand, who is joining us from France. If I talk about Seb, then he's one of the well-known IBM champion and a tech lead whose work focuses on modernizing the IBM developer experience by bridging traditional enterprise system with modern development practices. He is also actively contributing to tools like Code for IBMI, helping developers move toward more efficient, integrated workflows while still leveraging the power of IBMI in today's world. So, today in this episode, we will talk about Project Bob, AI in enterprise development, and the evaluation of IBMI and what the future really looks like, particularly in terms of IBMI ecosystem. But before we get started, I would like to thank Sebastian for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Of course. So, hi everyone. And first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast, which is, I think, the Hollywood Boulevard for the IBMI community now. I'm Sebastian, but you can call me Seb. And yeah, I work on IBMI. I've worked on IBMI for the entirety of my career. So for the past 20 years almost. And and it's been a very interesting journey. I mean, working on this platform has been I've seen so many things going on it over the past 20 years. I've been having very interesting discussions with a lot of people, and so that kept me that kept me interested and made my daily work a very pleasant experience so far, I would say.
Okay.
And then, and then lately, I mean, for the past 5 years, I think I started contributing on the code for IBMI projects, more like 4 years, I think. And that changed also my perspective on the community. And I was happy to bring back to the community to finally be able to give something back. And then that even eventually got me into giving speaker sessions about that very interesting topic that is Code for I and open source in general.
Yeah.
So far I can't complain. That's been quite the journey.
Correct. Okay. So, Seb, today we are going to talk about the modernization, especially in terms of IBM. And I think this is the right time to talk about one of the latest project launched by IBM, that is Project Bob, which is a coding assistant for RPG, COBOL, Java, and other technologies. So I think this is a right moment to talk about this project from your experience, like as because you have been working on code for IBMI for a very long time. So what was your first reaction when you saw this project coming, Project Bob? What is your opinion behind that?
That's a very timely question because Bob is going out for its GA in 2 days.
Yes.
So, well, I was actually attending Tech Exchange when Bob was announced there, so I could see it firsthand. And yeah, it was mind-blowing when IBM announced it. It was, oh, this is getting serious. I mean, the IBM community, we are getting a very serious coding tool
Yes.
backed by AI that is doing something that was not so well spread by then. I mean, having a coding assistant like Bob that could plan ahead and define its own task and iterate over them, that was, yeah, not something you saw. That was a year and a half ago now. That was not very common. So it was still a beta, but still it was impressive. And I was very, very pleased to see that because I could, from the very beginning, see that it was a fork of VS Code, which
Mm-hmm.
is, in my opinion, a good move because the VS Code ecosystem is very, very much alive,
Yes.
as you know. And so, yeah, and my first thought was that, oh, so it will be possible to integrate it with code for IBMI. And so there will be bridges between Bob and IBMI. And of course, IBM had plans to integrate IBMI and have Bob to work with IBMI. But I had this thought at the back of my head that was, okay, we'll be able to integrate with Bob because it's running in a fork of VS Code, so it's all
Correct.
connected. Yeah, it's all connected. So I was very, very pleased to see that, and that was a great announcement overall, and it went well so far. I mean, people have been responding very positively to Bob. You probably saw tons and tons of articles on it, but
Yes.
from a lot of people, I mean, the IBMI community is having, I guess, a good time on Bob, but so are the people working on Maximo, on ZOS, and everybody that is working with an IBM product will have fun using Bob, I think.
Correct.
So it's great. Sounds good.
Yeah, and all the developers, they are especially looking towards this project because they know that it is going to change their day-to-day work, because now everyone is utilizing AI. But if they have that capability inside IBMI system itself with the help of project like Bob, so they can try to innovate the things and they can reduce those repetitive tasks and try to find out some more innovative solutions instead of wasting time on doing the similar kind of job on a regular basis. So yeah, it
Right.
looks like it will help a lot. Yeah. So, Seb, here I have one question. Like, on the one hand, IBM is doing these kind of initiative, whether introducing the new AI-based projects like Project Bob, but still, I would say like there are a lot of people who hear a IBMI system and they just picture the green screen from like 1980s. So, what do you
hmm
think? Like, what's the elevator pitch you will give to someone who writes it off before giving it a chance? In a very simple thing, like I still believe there are some people who believe that it is not a future of IBMI. So,
Mm.
what's your opinion on that, and how would you answer these kind of myths or questions?
Well, I would say, surprisingly, maybe, or not, you you as a developer, you could on IBMI, you can spend a day or maybe a week walking on IBMI and not seeing a green screen. You know,
Yeah.
it's not mandatory to have a green screen. That's one of the interface you can use to connect to the system. But I mean, if you're using VS Code, of course, I'm using Code for I a lot. And so I can spend a week just walking in VS Code and I have my code open in VS Code and then I have just a terminal, an SSH terminal opened and I'm connected to the IBMI. I don't really need a 5250 interface for that. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just connected to a Unix-like system, through SSH. And that's the same for someone who'd be working on Linux or another Unix system. So with VS Code and SSH, I can do whatever I want. And then you can even have ACS open if you need more advanced feature
Yeah.
using SQL and whatever. If you need to configure the system, you go through iNav. And yeah, maybe at some point you'll be using 5250. because it is what it is. I mean, again, someone working on Unix or Linux will be using the terminal, and that works right. You can do things very, very quickly using a terminal.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's more efficient than using the UI, yeah, sorry, a web UI or a heavy client or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. Whenever you think about IBMI or AS400, even though that ship has sailed, hopefully. But of course, when you talk about IBMI, people are thinking 50 to 50 and green screen and whatever. But no, it's not the case anymore. If you make the effort to use an SSH shell and use Bash and just use VS Code, I mean, at the end of the day, you might spend your day without opening a 5250 interface.
Yes, so we can say that if still you are utilizing, it's your problem, because now we have options. Now we have better approach to build the code. Like you can use VS Code or maybe other modernized tool instead of using the simple emulator. So that is the problem
Yeah,
of people. Like they are not trained, they are not utilizing the maximum power of this particular platform, right?
yeah,
So
that's usually how I summarize like everything when I hear people talking about, getting out of SEU or just moving to RDI or to VS Code or to whatever. The biggest issue is not adopting the tool, it's not moving to the tool, it's changing your mindset.
yes, that
And
is important.
that's always the same thing. We've been talking about moving out of QCs to Git, for example,
Hmm.
and that's that's not a tool problem. The tools, they exist, but the mindset of the people working on the platform has to be changed.
That has to be changed.
They have to be somehow convinced that it's the right way to go. And I mean, both IBM and very vocal people in the community have been advocating for moving to Git, moving to modern CI/CD approaches.
Yes.
But the problem remains that the mindsets they have, that they remain the same. Some people are stuck and they keep thinking that, oh no, I cannot move away from that because it's going to be a problem. And yes, there is a gap to be crossed, but if you change your mindset and if you embrace the modern approaches, you'll see that in the end, it has its benefits.
Yes, right.
So yeah, it all boils down to the mindset.
Correct. Yeah, I'm also agree. Once like they are out of their comfort zone, they will feel that no, now the things are more easier for them instead of making it complex by using the old approach. They can easily adopt it. Just give it a try. Once you give it a try, you will find that yes, it is really helping you, saving lot of your time as well. So I
Yeah,
think now audience got the questions. Like if you are still wondering whether it's at the right time, even in fact like time is already passed, you should adopt it because now
yeah,
everyone is utilizing the modernized approach. So it's the right time. Okay,
exactly.
so yeah, Seb, we talked about the tools. We now I think audience have idea that yes, it is the right time to use and adopt the modernized tool like VS Code for your development purpose. But apart from tools, there are some features as well. They are that are very special. That makes the IBMI system special among the ecosystem. So, from your experience, what's the most surprising capability of IBMI that you encounter so far, or that you think that even the seasoned developer or people with lots of experience is not even paying attention to that features, or they are completely overlooking the features? So, what are those common features that you have witnessed so far?
I would say so. That's a trick question because there is a lot going on of IBM on IBMI, and even though I work on VS Code and Code for I, and I do a little bit of RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't do as much RPG as some other experts, so I hope I won't get shot answering this question. But from my perspective, I would say um, using ILE to its full extent in conjunction with DB2 those are the two pieces that, if used well, you can do wonders on on the system. You still see people giving sessions about procedure-driven RPG. I know you had Gregory Simons on this very podcast,
Yes, right.
and he is advocating for that a lot.
Mhm.
And other people, I mean, most of the experts that are giving sessions about coding in RPG are talking about ILE and procedure-oriented coding and how to reuse procedures, how to use service programs, how to use modules, etc. And this is very specific to IBMI, of course, the ILE, but it's wonderful. Every time I had to create a new program or think and design a new system, I would think of what would be the functions, the procedures I would use. And then lately, IBM invested in DB2 and in the SQL services. And since you can call SQL right into your
Correct.
RPG, it makes it very, very easy to do things now with
Yes.
the SQL services. So, and even right now for my job, I'm using DB2 extensively. I'm designing a new system, and I've been using the services, creating functions, and it made my daily life so easy. Implementing things using just SQL was so easy thanks to DB2 So yeah, I would say ILE and DB2 And then on top of that, please move away from RPG 3.
Yes, that is very important.
Yeah, that's the lead. Do yourself, I would tell the people, do yourself a favor and move away from RPG 3. There is a converter. You will have still column RPG, but it will be RPG 4 and then you can use free format RPG into that old program. But yes, please go away from RPG 3. You have a converter on the system that is reliable. So
Yes.
start modernizing.
Yes, and in fact, like if you are still utilizing RPG 3, then it is not the problem with the platform. This is the problem with mindset, as you mentioned earlier. That yes, now you should know that yes, it is not the right time. It is the right time to move to the completely modernized RPG as well. Like if don't invest your time in writing the code in RPG 3. In fact, if there are some piece of code in your system, try to modernize it. Try to move it to the ILE concept. Try to utilize the procedures instead of using the native IO operation. You should adopt the DB2 skills. You can
Yeah,
directly create the tables and make a use of it, and it will make the things easier, not only for the development purpose, but let's say if there is a fresh batch who's going to adopt this IBM platform, they can also compare it with the normal SQL instead of going through the ready and all those typical native IO operations. So this will also attract the young generation, especially the Gen Zs, like who knows the SQL, who knows the modern development things.
exactly. Exactly. I would say you don't do it for yourself. You do
Yes,
it for the people that are going to pick up after you.
correct,
And yeah, the young generation, because of course that's another subject. That's the lack of people
correct.
knowing IBMI and working on IBMI and the struggle to hire new talents and bring them to the platform. So using a modern IDE is one way to attract people, and
Correct.
using modern ways of writing things is another one. And as you said, these guys, these guys, they know SQL. They will recognize SQL. They will know what a procedure is. They will know what recursivity is.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, you don't catch flies with vinegar. Catch them with honey. So yeah, better start
Correct.
using honey there.
Okay. All right. So now moving ahead, Sab, we will talk about your roles specifically to your professional work because you help to create the features as well as to support the users in IBMI ecosystem. So from your journey, what do you think? Like which of these two roles is harder? Is it the one where we are creating the new feature or the one where we are supporting the users? So what's your thought on this?
Oh, yeah, between these two, supporting the users is, let's say, harder.
Okay.
But it's true for any kind of job where you have to bring support to people because you have to understand what the problem is and then think about how to resolve it. And I guess the hardest part is to get all the information to understand the problem, reproduce it, and then bring a solution.
Hmm.
So that's what we, the whole team working on Code for I, that's what we've been struggling with. Because if you scroll through the issues, I guess every time we ask for the same output, the same logs that are
Yeah.
produced in VS Code to understand what's going on, because everything gets written. It's like the job log, you know.
Correct.
So if you ask IBM about a problem you had on your system, the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, send us the job log." So here it's the same. We always ask for send the code for IBMI output. And this is the job log of code for I, basically.
Hmm. Right.
And so yeah, usually this is where we struggle because as always, you need to understand the problem, how to reproduce it, and then once it's reproduced, that's easy to fix. And yeah, compared to implementing the features right now, it's easier because first of all, VS Code has a very easy to use API
Yes.
as compared to RDI, for example. So when you need to implement something new in VS Code, it's very easy to work with its API. And it's very well documented too. And then between this and the fact that we can use the DB2 services from VS Code, we have full access to the system. So usually implementing something new is quite easy because we have all the tools in our hands. And yeah, if it wasn't for SQL, we wouldn't be where we are today with Code for I, that's for sure.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I think now those who are into these roles, they can also relate the things and they can also agree with you that how they see the support work as well as developing and creating the new features. So yeah, I think
Hopefully,
now we are.
yeah.
Yes, now I think we are good to move to the next part of the discussion where we will talk about one of the amazing group of peoples that is IBM Champion community.
Mm,
Because you often mention IBM Champion recognition as the cherry on the top of a journey for those who are whose journey is fueled by the passion. So I just wanted to know in your journey when you were first recognized with this prestigious title, what was the actual moment you found out, and what did you feel about this program or this journey as an IBM champion?
ha. I guess I was very inspired that day with that sentence. So, yeah, I remember when I was first nominated as a champion, I discovered I got the title on a Friday morning. I opened my emails and I received that. I saw that title. Congratulations, you're an IBM champion.
Then I am champion.
Oh, yeah, I felt happy that day. Yeah, because that was a very nice recognition. And even though I wasn't aiming really at getting it, it's as you said, it's a nice recognition. The work you've done for the community is being recognized by your peers, and yeah, it feels good, and then it's important because it gave me more visibility, and then I could advocate even more for the platform. You know, if I wanted to submit a paper or a session talking about modern approach on IBMI or talking about VS Code, what's new, what's great, etc. That title helps shine a spotlight on what you are going to tell because it
Yeah,
gives you more credibility. Even though, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people in the community who deserve to be champions as well.
yeah,
And but this is something that helps a lot to
mm,
be heard. And then I would thank IBM for the treatment they gave to the champion, because if you have the chance to, for example, attend Tech Exchange, you get the
tech.
VIP treatment there, and that's one of a kind. It feels great. But overall, it helped, yeah, put a spotlight on the individuals that will push forward the boundaries and help. bringing something good to the community and the platform itself. And
Hmm.
so that's why it's the cherry on top, because I know that I got the title mostly for doing what I did for Code for IBMI and contributing to it. And so I was quite happy because I love coding and I love bringing the thing to the community and give feedback, get feedback from it. And so yeah, getting the title was really like having a cherry on top of the cake that I liked. So that's my take on that.
Okay, yeah, I think this is again a topic where everyone will be agreed, because those who are into this community, as those who are supporting the community as an IBM champion, they know the how much prestigious this title is, because this is not only recognizing their efforts, but it is also creating a platform where like-minded people can work together and they can find out some solution that they are looking for. So it's a best way to build a community that not only doing the things only for the recognition, but also they are doing it practically, whether it's a tech exchange where when people met together, like they discover few new things, right, and they can implement it there into day-to-day life. So that's a great work that community is doing under this program of IBM championship.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing. And surprisingly, when you talk with other champions, the one thing that comes often during the discussion is the fact that everybody think they have imposter syndrome. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh
Yes.
my God, why have I been recognized? I'm not I'm not that good. And yes, you are. You're good. You're making a difference.
That's
You're
very good.
putting
Yeah.
some time and effort into that. So yeah, feel good about it and take it.
That is very important, not only for this program but for job also, because sometimes I feel that
Yeah,
there are developers also who feel that they are not contributing enough, but you are. That's why like you are into this job role. Otherwise they will not
yeah,
even give you yeah, time or project to
exactly.
do that. So that's very important. All right. So yeah, I think we talked about the IBMI related tools. We talked about the modernization approach, but I think now it's time to talk about the future. So what do you think, like Sab, if in 2026 or maybe in the upcoming years, if someone is planning to start their professional journey as an IBMI developer or in any role of IBMI ecosystem, so how do you look the future for them? Like what all things are going to change, especially when we are into the era of AI, artificial intelligence?
I think if we talk about IBMI related jobs, what was true in the past years is still true right now. There is a lack of people that are willing to work on IBMI, I think,
Mhm.
and enterprises are still struggling to hire new people to work on the platform. So I guess if anyone is curious enough and interested enough to start a career on IBMI, they won't have any problem finding enterprises that are willing to hire and train them. There is no lack of training. There are very good companies that are offering training on the platform. And yet again, if you start using full free RPG and SQL, it's not that different from other languages.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not object oriented like Java or Python or whatever. But even then, you can use Python on IBMI, you can use Java on IBMI if it fits what you have to do. That's the
Yes.
other thing. You shouldn't use it if you don't need it, because RPG is now very well advanced and you can do a lot with it. Again, with SQL, with RPG, and the latest versions, there's no problem implementing anything. But yet again, you have to keep yourself updated on that. And so for someone who'd like to get started, I guess just raising your hand and saying, "Hey, I'd like to learn RPG,"
RPG.
it's a good first step to get the attention. And of course, you might end up working on old code, but again, it may bring a fresh mindset to the mix, and that will help move things forward
Correct.
if the enterprise is willing to do so. That's always the same problem. Then you have to convince management, you have to change things, etc. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, just be curious, be interested, and there's even Pub 400 if you want to learn
Yes.
RPG and learn coding on the platform for free. And everybody in the community is very grateful to Holger, who is providing this free service to the community. So I would say, yeah, be curious. Don't be afraid of the platform. That brings us to that first question where we were talking about the green screen. It's not about the green screen. I mean, you
Yeah.
you can work in VS Code. You can use an SSH terminal just like you did in school. So that's not different from any other job in the end.
Correct. Yeah, so I think this thing already explained all the questions that mostly freshers ask about IBMI. That do we have jobs in future? So yes, there are jobs. In fact, people are looking for those fresh talent who knows IBMI or RPG technology, so that they can join them in their team to build the enterprise solution on which they are working for a very long time. So jobs are there, but what you need to do is just to adopt the modernized thing. In fact, when you start from scratch, you will not even hear about the old things. So it's again a benefit for you, because you can directly start with VS Code. There's no need to go with the older approach. You should know,
Hmm.
just in case if you are doing any updates in there, like RPG3 or something. But if you are adopting from day one, if you are adopting the advanced thing, then it will not cause any issue for you, because you have already adopted that thing in your journey.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we also know that freshers are mostly influenced by these things, artificial intelligence, and of course, like everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, and specifically we talk about IBM, that they are also actively working on their LLM models. In fact, in one of the recent news, we found that IBM fed over 10 millions of lines of RPG code to Granite LLMs, and
Hmm.
they are working on it. But what do you think, Seb? Like they tried that thing, but still, I think they are figuring out that it's bit hard or bit of challenging for the initial stage. So, from your experience, what could be the reason behind it? Like, why? What makes RPG so resistant, especially to the IBMI training?
Hmm. Well, I'll go out on one leg here, but I think that the lack of publicly available RPG code
Yes.
is making it very hard to train an LLM. Because as far as I know, I'm not so much into knowing everything that's behind an LLM, but I know that you need a very big amount of data to train a
Hmm.
language model. And so when I think like Copilot was trained, it was trained on GitHub, and GitHub is the biggest repository in the world
Yes.
with a lot of public repositories. So there is no lack of Java, of Python, C, C++,
Data.
whatever.
Hmm.
When it comes to RPG, there are some open source RPG um, projects, of course, thankfully.
Hmm.
But compared to the rest, not so much. So to get an LLM to understand all the subtlety of RPG that's more complex, I guess that's the problem. That's why IBM has been asking for its customers to provide some code
Right.
in a private way to help train the model. But even then, I guess it wasn't enough. And but still now the models are getting better and better. If you use Claude, if you use Gemini, you can get very good results.
Correct.
So yeah, we're getting there, and it's helpful. You shouldn't rely on it entirely, but it can help understand. I guess the most important part is to help understand the code. Generating the code is still for me something that I would not like to do, but
Okay.
understanding something that exists, just to understand the logic, especially with column RPG,
Hmm.
yeah, that would be the best things, and the models are getting good at it so far. And yes, if we talk about Bob can explain it quite well and generate diagrams, and that's something everybody was happy with because they were finally able to ask someone to explain the code, even though the person that wrote the code went away 10 years ago. So that's going to be a relief for everybody.
Yes, right. And yes, this is the major problem because we all know that, especially about the IBMI model or AI model, like they are totally dependent on the data set on which they are getting trained. So yeah, that is one of the issue because as compared to other technologies, RPG related stuff is less on available. Like as you mentioned about the code, comparative to GitHub repository, like they have lots of code there, so they easily train that thing. But yeah, things are getting improved and they are working on it. So very soon, like in fact, IBM project is already on the way. So the, it will change a lot the way we are utilizing AI for specifically for IBMI technology.
Yeah,
All right. So yeah, I think Seb, we have so many things that we can discuss on IBMI artificial intelligence, but we are short on time. So I just want to take a few more questions before we conclude the discussion. So
sure.
first question is regarding the support of network because in everyone's life there is a support of network who helped us in our journey. So looking back on your career, who were the key people who had a defining impact on your journey so far?
Hmm. Well, I can think of a lot of people, of course,
Yeah.
but since we don't have much time, I have three people in mind who made a difference in my career. The first one was the first tech lead I worked with when I started my career. When I started my career, I was just freshly graduated from school, and I knew Java, I knew modern language, but then I had to look for a job, and someone told me, okay, you can work for this company. They are hiring people, and they're working on AS400. Okay, whatever. And then, yeah, you see column RPG3 and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Well, of course, obviously now that didn't stop me, but I had a chance to work with this tech lead. His name is Frédéric Carton, and he did a very good job explaining the platform and keeping me interested into the platform. And he could see that I was very much into the technical aspect of things, much more than the functional side of the job. And I was interested into trying new things, into trying to put a web interface over the existing code base, or
Yeah.
and then yeah, trying new technical stuff. And so I had the chance to work with this guy for a couple of years. And then when I switched to a new job, he eventually got hired by that new employer of mine. So we continued working together. And yeah, he had a significant impact at the beginning of my career. And um, someone else who had a very significant impact, he's the current director of R&D at Arcade Software, Mark Dallas. And yeah, I spent 12 years working with Mark, and I loved his perspective on life and work together. We
Okay.
became friends over the course of the years, and he's very fond to my heart. And yes, I loved his approach and his energy overall. And he gave me, yeah, all the tools I needed to do my work properly. And then he put his trust in me, and so I could evolve in that company and try new things and do things. And then, yeah, it was very important for me, but it was really his mindset was something I was looking after
Okay.
and looking upon. And finally, the last one I can think of is Charlie Guarino.
Chaka.
For the yeah, he's been a mentor for the speaker side of things. He convinced me that speaking was something I should do, and he was right. And he's a good friend too. We're spending a lot of quality time together whenever we can, when we see each other doing events. And yeah, he has this happy-go-lucky kind of energy that I love. And he was right. Speaking is awesome. Everybody should try speaking and bring something new. Even if you're talking about something that's all someone is already talking about, you'll bring your point of view to that subject, to that matter. So yeah, everybody should try doing a speaker session at least once in his
Yes.
life just to see how it goes. That's very important. So yeah. Thank you, Frederick. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Charlie. You're awesome.
Yes. Okay. So, Seb, I think now it's time to talk about the country or the place you belong from. So, although we all know so many great initiatives taken by the France or the France people and the way they have contributed to the global audience, but if you had to take or select one thing that is close to your heart about France, so then in that case, what would you uh, feel proud to share with the rest of the world about the France?
Ooh, that's a trick question again, but I would have to choose between the mountains and the food, and unfortunately, I cannot choose between these two because I live in the mountains and I have good food. So I would just say that there are some amazing landscapes in France that are worth visiting. Not only Paris. Paris is a very nice city, of course, and it has a lot of history. But there are a lot of other places, even though France is a rather small country, there are a lot of places everywhere that are worth visiting, like the coast, the west coast, the east coast, up north. We have very interesting people up north, and so yeah, I would first advise people to go around and visit all of France, and then of course enjoy the food and pair it with a good glass of wine because that brings the flavor out.
Yeah.
Uh, that would be my advice. Yeah.
Okay, so I think now you have gave the proper plan to enjoy the Friends ecosystem and to make their visit more memorable. So that's a great thing about the Friends, and I'm sure like those who have already visited the country, they know what you are talking about, so they can also relate the things very well.
Hopefully, yeah. The point is don't just stay in one place, just go around because there's
Yeah.
plenty to see and it's lovely.
Yes. All right. So, yeah, thank you so much, Sebastian, for joining us today in this episode and for sharing so much information about IBMI and also about the modernization and the future of IBMI ecosystem. So, it was really a pleasure to talk to you here. I'm sure these things will resonate with so many other listeners, specifically to those who are working with IBMI technology. So, thank you once again for being a part of the show.
Well, that was my pleasure and thank you for having me. That was a very special moment. So thank you very much.
Thank you.